Welcome back to part 5. We are so thrilled to be going through this process with you. If you're ready to get real with your goals and figure out how to make them actually happen, you're in the right place. Because today we're talking about how to set goals with your PowerSheets. But before we begin, let me remind you, you've done it. You've got your good goals for 2023, friend. And now you're focused on what matters. We are so proud of you. Next up, we're going to walk through the goal action plan pages and then talk about a few ways to help your goals flourish over the next year. So when you're ready, turn to pages 28 and 29 if you're using one-year PowerSheets, or 20 and 21 if you have 90-day PowerSheets. Let's dive back in. Listen up, friends, because this is where some of the magic happens. In fact, a lot of the magic happens of PowerSheets right here on these pages. You already know we love big picture goals. And the truth is, we love big picture goals that inspire you, point you where you want to go, and have a strong why. But equally important, we love breaking goals down. You can't have one without the other, because if you did, you'd either have goals that sound lovely but go nowhere, or you'd spin your wheels doing lots of things but feel like they're never adding up. And so, with that in mind, these pages are where we bring both of those halves, the big picture and the breaking it down, together. But remember, these are your goal action plan pages. So over the next several pages, you're going to break down your yearly goals. And that just means you're going to make a simple plan for each one. And don't worry, you can keep coming back to them throughout the year. These plans don't have to be set in stone unless you want them to be. So let's get started with your first goal. First up, you're going to write your yearly goal, or your goal for the season ahead if you're using 90-day PowerSheets. Remember, this is likely a big picture, maybe corresponding with one of the areas of the cultivated life evaluation that you did on day 2. So maybe you write something like steward my finances well, or make friends in my neighborhood, or prepare for graduation. Of course, it can also be something more specific, maybe a finish line goal that you're going to work on throughout the year. That just means something concrete like make a family photo album, or renovate your kitchen, or train for and complete a triathlon. But whatever your first goal is, write it in at the top. And next, you're going to write out the why behind your goal. Ask yourself these questions. Why are you motivated to achieve it? Why does it matter? To bring us back to the discussion we had at the beginning, why are you passionate about this goal? Why are you willing to sacrifice to bring it to life? Write a few thoughts here. All right, so in the next section, we're going to get practical. Are you ready? This is important. We have to be realistic about the resources it will take to accomplish a goal. The key here is not to be discouraged, but again, realistic. So take a moment to think through the resources you might need. Does that mean time? Time to go on runs or learn something new or put in the work? Does it mean expertise or advice? Maybe money for supplies or studio time or new equipment or a class? Sometimes resources can even be emotional capacity if you're doing something especially difficult or healing. Maybe you need physical space to practice or store supplies or gather people, or maybe you need help from others to watch children, get where you need to go, or gather funds. You get the idea. Whatever it might be, mark the boxes to get your wheels turning. And by the way, in the sidebar, you'll want to check off the area of the cultivated life evaluation this goal falls under, and whether it includes habits, finish lines, or it's a big dream. Remember, you can check multiple boxes because this helps you categorize the goal in your mind so you can see whether you're building a well-rounded year, if that's something you're hoping for. Now, at the bottom of the page, we have 3 questions that will help you start to break your goal down. First, what does success look like for this goal at the end of 2023 or at the end of 90 days? So this question helps you know where you're headed, because if you can envision your destination, you're much more likely to get there. You should write in a few thoughts on the habits you'd like to have mastered, the finish lines you'd like to complete, or how you want to feel by the end of the year or season. Second, what might happen if you don't start or make progress on this goal? That means, what is at stake here? Said another way, what is the negative outcome you might see if you don't commit to little by little steps forward? And though we like to think positively, reminding yourself of why this goal matters can really fire you up. Third, how will you have fun with this goal along the way? Yes, fun. We love this question because, believe it or not, goal setting is not meant to be all drudgery and boredom. No way. The more you can inject fun and community and competition and rewards and, yes, joy into your goal setting, the more likely you are to stick with it. So as you imagine living out this goal, ask yourself, how can you build fun into your plans? Can you invite a friend into it? Can you add delight to an action step? Can you plan a fun reward? Spend a few minutes really brainstorming here. And when you're ready, look at page 29 in 1-year PowerSheets or 21 in 90-day PowerSheets. Now, this page is intentionally flexible. If you'd like, we have several wildcards at goalschool.com that you can print out and tape into this page that will let you experiment with different ways of breaking down your yearly goals. But one of our favorites is simply to draw a quadrant on the page, 4 boxes, and fill it with potential habits, finish lines, and action steps for each season. You can think of it like the Pace Yourself for Success page, but just for one goal. But of course, there are lots of other options, many specific to goals like finance goals or friend goals, so feel free to get creative and use those wildcards. After all, they're free with your PowerSheets purchase, so why not use them here? So there you have it. You have 8 of these goal action plan pages to start you off for the year. Really quick, a tip if this is your first time filling them out. Go through and fill out each of your goals and your whys so you get a little momentum, and then come back and fill out the rest of the plans for each, maybe over the rest of this week. And remember, goals can change. So as you fill out your monthly tending list and your 90-day refreshes, you can come back to these pages and check off your progress, jot down more ideas, or transfer action steps to the months ahead. And just so you know, you'll get more and more clarity as you experience each season. Now, when you're ready, turn to pages 44 and 45 in 1-year PowerSheets and 36 and 37 in 90-day PowerSheets. So you and I both know that one of the biggest things that can knock us off track with our goals is we simply forget about them. Yes, I said what I said. You know how it is. When we begin new things, our brains often rebel. Your brain prefers to keep doing things the way it's always done them. Let me tell you, those neural pathways run deep. So throughout the year, it can be helpful to have signposts, so to speak, to remind you where you're going. And that's what a word of the year and a vision board can do for you. Now, I know that word of the year sounds fancy, but it's simply one word that sums up where you hope to head in the year to come. So spend some time flipping back through the pages of your prep work. Write down a few options and then choose one word that fires you up. But most importantly, keep your word of the year somewhere you can see it. Our advice is to write your word multiple places throughout your home, where you'll see it as you go about your day. And by the way, if you're a 1-year PowerSheets user, do the same thing with your vision board, if you choose to make one. In other words, keep your vision board somewhere you'll see it often. And remember, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can print photos, you can use family photos, you can stick on a collection of stickers. Whatever visually sums up your goals and gets you excited about where you're headed is wonderful. But remember, even though both of these steps are very helpful, they're totally optional. So when you're ready, turn the page to 46 and 47 in your 1-year PowerSheets or 38 and 39 in your 90-day PowerSheets. Take a deep breath. It's time to bloom where you've been planted. Yes, you're doing great. Now, some of you may have already written your yearly goals on 47 or 39 with the last video. If so, that's wonderful. But if you chose to wait until you filled out your goal action plan pages to write them down like I did, now is your chance to write your yearly goals or goals for the season ahead. Either way, this is really exciting. Okay, friends, for 1-year PowerSheets users, your final step for today is to turn to page 48 and 49. And really, this isn't even a step, or at least it's a pretty easy one. Yeah. Remember that library of free wildcards in Goal School we talked about in the goal action plan pages? Well, this is more space to print out and tape in wildcards, or worksheets, if you will, that will help you track or achieve your goals. And there are all kinds of wildcards in Goal School, from budget trackers to book trackers to friendship tending sheets to decluttering organizers. So go ahead and explore, and remember, have fun. Well, friends, you did it. You've set your goals and you're well on your way to breaking them down. And in case you haven't heard it today, you are amazing. You know all those things you've always wanted to do? You should go do them. In the next video, we're going to walk you through your monthly pages, including how to make your first tending list. And we can't wait. See you tomorrow. Bye.